that radio. You call that radio TV. No. You call that radio TV.
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio. We're live here. We're live. It's just want to say a big shout out before we go any further to everybody supporting the GoFundMe for Tam. I'll just show you the screen here. We started this just before we went online for the 2:00 show with Dawn. So, and already it's up to £1,100. The target was 1,000. So that's amazing. We've up to the 2,000 because I don't want to put people off supporting it. But yeah, support Tam. The links in the comments if you want to help. Absolute legend, a pillar of our community who needs our help and needs support. Some of that support that he's been put into the scene and asks for nothing in return. So support Tam if you can. And well done to everyone who already has. That's incredible. £1,100 in a couple of hours. Absolute legends, a lot of these. And another legend who gives so much to the community and asks for very little in return. It's the amazing Morphamish. Can you hear me?
Can indeed. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. There would be no You Call That Radio without Morphamish.
Well, it's good to help with such a positive thing that you're doing, you know. I remember, what was it? It was at a castle party when we were chatting, and you were like, "I want to start a podcast." I was like, I totally want to be involved in an awesome podcast, and like, you just
I remember. So we're at the castle party, and you were comparing different podcasts that we liked and listened to. I think we both had the raps and that. Oh,
yeah,
snap!
it's like, oh, Blind Boy,
Snap!
oh, brilliant.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, obviously, at castle parties and parties in general, people get excited and have all sorts of crazy ideas. But I think, like myself, Famous, you're one of the ones that has those ideas and then like wakes up sober a couple of days later and actually goes out and does the things that you said you were going to do.
Because it's like reality enhancement is great, but actual reality enhancement, if you know what I mean. So actually having those ideas and then putting them into practice, if you can make things happen, is just so more gratifying than it just sort of disappearing in air, you know.
Well, I've been trying to get you on the show for ages. Oh, you've gone.
Where am I? Am I here?
Your camera, I can hear you. I can't see you.
Did I say disappear into the air and then my
You
camera
just disappeared in the air as you said the word disappear. I don't know how you do that. You're a magician. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to play one of your tunes because for people who don't aren't aware of your music, we'll talk. Today we're going to talk about.
How's that? That's internal camera.
Looks like you're back. Today we are going to talk about how You Call That Radio started, but more importantly, we're going to talk about Morphamish and the music he makes.
There we go.
The parties he plays. Oh yeah, he's back. So we're going to talk about, you know, how You Call That Radio started, because there is no doubt, without Hamish, there would be no You Call That Radio, certainly not in the form that it's in now. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also going to be more importantly talking about Hamish's music, the work that he does as a DJ, and various other projects as well. But I think it's always good to kind of start things off with a bit of music. And I mean, how should we start it off? Should we start with a new single, or how would you prefer?
That's kind of where I'm at with things at the moment. I just wanted to do something that is just upbeat and positive, but but not with a specific lyrical message, just a vibe that's, you know, energizing and stuff, that rather than, you know, things can get, especially with everything on the internet, everything can get taken the wrong way or this, that, the other. But if it's just a vibe of a tune, it's just like...
I mean,
works
that's
as
what I
is.
was trying to, when I was trying to describe you earlier on. I was just sort of doing the show. And I'm like, oh, coming up, sisters. You're not fitting in any genres very easily, are you? You're not easily slipping into a
Well,
genre.
it's something we found when we're applying to different Spotify playlists. They always have a specific style, and then getting all this feedback going, oh, it's different. I really like it, but I can't play it on my playlist because it's not this particular style. It's like because I like stuff that's. I mean, you're the same. You've got so many different influences in your stuff that you make a new thing. So yeah, I'd just like to vary it
Well,
up
is
and
that,
just
is that
express
maybe quite a
myself in
good way
whatever.
forward for yourself, for example? Because it's like, for example, I know Gyro Babies, we never get on any playlist. You know, obviously, our friends or local DJs might add it to a playlist, but we've never got into the curated playlist or anything like that
Yeah.
because, you know, what do you call it? I mean, the Evening Times called us baffling Ned punk, and I don't know if that was an insult or a compliment, but we kind of ran with that because we didn't have anything else to work with. We don't really know how to describe it.
Well,
And
it's
then
like
also,
they're
I had,
baffled, but you get baffled with the feedback. It's like, I like this, but I don't know if it matches my hairdo. So I can't. It's like, that's so weird.
well, I think it's
But
because, like,
but
coming
it's,
from a scheme, the idea that I'm a Ned is just really weird because it doesn't, you know, I kind of got that when I started getting involved in the music scene, that the sort of phrase Ned started kind of gravitating
it's a
towards me.
weird word.
But
Does
but
it not
when you're in
stand
a
for
scheme, you're not in,
non-educated delinquent or something? Is that
yeah.
what they mean? And it's like, you obviously got fucking educated. The words you're flying through.
The school of
everything you
life,
say.
son. The school of life.
Well, it's true.
It's-
It's everything. You know, everything's a learning experience, and it's how you interact with reality that brings wisdom. You know.
Absolutely. Well, and I think and then obviously the other project that I really work on is Jackal Trades. And that's a niche within a niche, because obviously hip hop in Scotland is niche. And then there's, like, you know, lots of people that are into hip hop in Scotland wouldn't particularly like what I'm doing. And not out of
Well,
any disrespect. It's just
it's
a
the
bit
classic thing
weird.
of keeping it real, though, because it's like people had a bee in the bonnet about people rapping in their own accent for ages.
Outrageous.
And it's so bonkers. And at the same time, they're sort of parroting phrases that are about the thing that they're feeling bashful about. But yeah, I think that's all kind of evaporating now, really.
It seems to be evaporating. Johnny Sloan says the man who saved lockdown. That is correct. This is the man who saved lockdown. For me, anyway. God only knows what I'd be doing without this show. And Lou saying, I wouldn't say you were an Ed at all. Well, the thing is that I'm not. I mean, it depends on where you are in the pecking order of society, innit? Because where I'm from, I'm certainly nobody would describe me as an Ed. But then when you're associating with, like, the music scene's quite usually, you know, sort of more middle class, upper middle class sometimes. So then they would call me an Ed. And, you know, the newspapers called me an Ed. And
Elvin says a lot more about the person that's pointing the phrase at someone else than it
But
does
I mean,
about...
to be fair, my standard grades were shite, and I was a bit of a delinquent. I didn't make things easy for myself by calling the band Gyro Babies either, did I? So I kind of I brought it on myself. I sung a song about Jeremy Kyle, for fuck's sake. So maybe
aiming
I
for
understand.
that mainstream daytime TV audience, obviously, with that one.
Well, we're going to get into more of that. What I'm going to do just now is we've got Elizabeth's in the house. Hello, Liz.
Hey, Liz.
Good stuff. Sounds like we've got a good wee crowd here today. I'm really looking forward to this one. I've been trying to get Hamish on the show since before this show, back in the audio days of You Call That Radio, which started about a year roughly before lockdown. So I'm excited for this one. I'm going to start with a song, which is the new single, Spark. And yeah, I just think the idea is, because you make so many different... I quite like the idea of you dropping singles, because you can probably pigeonhole each song and then potentially get it onto playlists, because playlists love boxes. Spotify wants you in a box.
Yeah, and some places where it's not that sort of compartmentalized, like SoundCloud or somewhere like that, it's not so much of a bafflement. They don't have to. They're not feeling like they're in little lanes where they've got to be a certain way. So it's.
I'm so baffled. I'm so baffled by this music. It's baffling. I actually wrote baffling Ned Punk on the back of a trackie. Where is it? I can't find the picture. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Let's see it.
We'll go do that later. We'll do that later. Let's check out the tune and Spark. What sparked the spark?
Well, as I was saying, just that kind of everyone must be feeling a bit. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people feeling a bit listless and stuff like that. But I thought rather than putting out something that's just total face meltingly banging like some of the stuff that I might do in a rave, just something that'll sound as good in your kitchen as it would on a sound system and vibe you up no matter where you're at, and you don't have to be in a party mode to really dig it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We were shaking our shoulders to it the other night. We had yesterday afternoon on the show. It's an absolute cracker. Sparked by Morphamish. I'm going to play this just now to you guys. Also, if you're not watching on YouTube, then you need to get the bus to YouTube. If you want to watch this show, it will be exclusively on YouTube today. So, let's hear it.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons. We are indeed powered by our patrons, and we are live with the man who saved lockdown, Morphamish. If you're on Facebook just now, you need to get the bus to YouTube. I'm going to put the link in the comment for you so you can join us on YouTube. It looks better, it sounds better, and I am on stereo. Aren't I, Hamish?
You are indeed.
Fuck. A little bit of backstory to that is that hopefully that sounded. Did it sound okay in stereo, the song?
Ah, but it still chews it the fuck up. But hey,
basically, as you know, sometimes when we play music on here, it sounds a little bit underwater. Is what I would best describe it as. But there is a stereo button on StreamYard that I was using for a while that sometimes fixes it or makes it better. It stopped working for a while, so the danger was that when I switch back to stereo, it only comes in one ear. And I ruined a couple of shows by doing that, so I just stopped using it.
You could just keep it in mono just now because it didn't really make that much of a difference
Didn't
today.
make that much of a
It did
difference,
last
no.
night. It was fixed it last
Do you
night,
know what?
but I think
it
you're
comes down to
talking about
just-
the amount of internet going on.
It's
It's
just
sort
the
of-
amount of internet,
must
and
be a
do you know that's
bandwidth
why
thing.
the green screen's not on today, because I just think that putting a nice fancy, I love to go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa or the Eiffel Tower,
You're next to an
or-
enormous apple.
or just a bar of any kind would be good for me today. But it's not happening. So I'm just going to keep it green screen. But I'll switch to stereo, man. I'm going to switch it to stereo because I just think if it's going to make it
Do
even
what
just a
you
little
feel.
bit better. And I know that you will keep me right. I know you will not let me continue with it. So we'll do it. Guys, if you are watching this on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, then you need to get the bus to YouTube to join the rest of the gang. But that's where all the cool kids are. That's where you've got Lou there, you've got Johnny Sloan, you've got you've got Liz, you've got all the cool cats. So who's that? Nice tracks of Steve Robb. Steve, join us on
Cheers,
YouTube.
Steve.
Get the bus to YouTube. Just click that link. I put it in the comments, and you can enjoy the rest of the show. This is going to be a good one. I'm buzzing for it. After 2 years, we finally have Morphamish. But by Facebook and by Twitch and by Twitter or Periscope or whatever you're calling yourself these days, we are live exclusively on YouTube now. And that was Spark, an absolute cracking track, man. And I like the idea that you've went for the positive vibes, and it's something that I'm struggling just now with recording my album as well, is that there's obviously a darkness to it, but there is, I do feel like there's a little bit of pressure to make, to find the joy, to find the happiness, and that's what I try and do in the show as well, because sometimes you're just absolutely raging or can't be fucked, but you're just like, by spreading the joy, it's an important thing to do.
I think when you're working lyrically, though, a lot of it is processing things for people and coming out the other side of it. So you can't just be like la 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 la, that isn't happening and stuff. But if it's purely instrumental, it's less of literally a conversation about a topic. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily feel duty bound in your own stuff to have it be all like, happy clappy and stuff like that. But I find, I don't know, my music is often for specifically in a dance or, recovering from it afterwards. So even when it's maybe darker and more banging and stuff like that, it's in a fun, specifically fun context. You get what I mean? Not to say that your music isn't in fun when it wants to be, but you know what I mean. You're dealing with topics specifically in many different ways.
Yeah, I suppose it's easier to write. I suppose lyrically, it's easier to write about stuff being shite, because I suppose for me, writing's kind of therapeutic. So by talking about things that are bothering me or upsetting me, it takes it sort of out my brain and onto the pad, and it's quite therapeutic to do that. And it's almost like it sometimes actually like magic solves whatever it is you're
Absolutely.
talking about.
It's rather than trying to keep lots of potential realities in your head of, oh, it could be like this, it could be like that, it could be like, if you externalize certain, maybe if you've got to make decisions about stuff or whatever, but you know, in the process of writing stuff, or even if I'm just like, how do I make that bass line work with that kick drum or whatever notes on a mix for something like that. Once you externalize it, then you can view it objectively and get some perspective on it, and you're not having to sort of contend with the idea all the time in your head. But I mean, there was, you know, at the start of the lockdown, there was this. We did a track. Well, we did that album with Tryptamines. It was all about escape, like literally escaping, because we were all cooped up. So it was got a kind of concept of trying to provide a definite escape from reality, you know.
And you certainly did that with the music and the videos as well, man. We're going to watch a little bit of that later on.
There's like a specific phrase in it, because, you know, because in remixes sometimes it's, you know, you take the whole lyric and put it on it, but Callum was specifically saying just go to town and really reinterpret stuff. So it'd be like taking a phrase like what was it? Live with reality or discover a dream. Pretty much within life at once we're wandering between, and it's like a holographic sort of phrase that you can view different ways. You know, if you live with a reality that you're living with, like you can deal with it, or it's about put up with reality, or discover a dream, or live in a fantasy world, or you know, change your reality so that you're living a dream. And then it's pretty much within life at once we're wandering between. You know, we flip between these states of maybe you're hitting your stride and you're doing all the shit and shit's panning out, and it's like or maybe you're coming on towards struggles that are you know giving you setbacks. So it's just trying to maintain that path of, in fact, how we were. One of the first things that we referred to, and we're chatting about, is like you have an idea and then you actually put it into action, into reality, you know. So that's
Absolutely.
all kind of wrapped up in that phrase. I quite like those sort of phrases that you can view. I've got a track that I did with Bram years ago that's got a sample that goes, what was it? Are we hallucinating more than we think, or do we just think we are? And you're like,
Life is but a dream.
This is true. This is true.
I totally get that, man. There's times where I think I suppose the best way is to kind of find the balance between the dream world and the reality, because sometimes you've got to sort your shit out and just get on with stuff, and you know,
Guaranteed.
do the shit you don't want to deal with things.
Yeah,
just get it done. And
that's what I mean about
times,
reality enhancement.
Yeah, there's reality enhancement.
But actually putting the work in to sort shit out, you know.
And then sometimes it's like, you know what, fuck reality. I'm just going to put my fingers in my ears and imagine a better reality.
Yeah.
And create your own reality. And I suppose, you know, hallucinogenics and stuff as well, I suppose that's quite a good metaphor for it, because, you know, it's good to go a little trip, but also
they're like a good teaching tool. But I mean, personally, I've not been doing any kind of stuff for age. I've not even had a drink for about, on my app it says about 180 days or something like that. Cause
well done.
Well, it's, I mean, it's a social thing. If you're drinking on your own and just getting sloppy on your own, getting sloppy in general is no fun. But yeah, so just wanted to knock it on the head for health and sense of well-being and stuff like that. But it's you know, psychedelics are wonderful as teaching tools now and again.
Absolutely, and I think that I suppose that probably the most that I've had there's certain nights on here where I've had a drink, and like the pub
Fair
quizzes or maybe over here
That's
in
a
the
pub
West End.
quiz. Come
It's a
on.
pub quiz. You've got to get drunk for pub quiz. It's what I tell myself, and you know I even put a suit on for that one.
Sweet.
And then you've got the Overheard in the West End, which shows don't happen that often, but they're like, that's like a long tradition of those shows. Of
Sure.
You know, it used to be a Sunday. We'd either be at Siempre, in Deep, or you know, we've done it at festivals and stuff as well. And the part of that was always, and the Friction Burn Supper as well. You know, these things are like
Great fun.
Rammies, and we're trying to
Yeah.
recreate the vibe of what it would be
Of course.
in real life. And the vibe in real life would be that we would all be having a good drink, but
Of course.
there is that feeling though. I mean, it is actually quite fun at the time, especially when you've got lots of different guests all coming on, and it's quite fun at the time.
Absolutely.
But it is really hard to, you know, my hangovers are just getting worse and worse as I get older, so it's really hard to kind of justify a hangover when you wake up feeling like shit and you didn't leave the house, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. It's the feeling of, even though you do get that connection at the time, it's the feeling of disconnect afterwards that lockdown hangovers are, yeah, just diminishing returns.
Is it? Because you just, and what you do is with your hangover, the first thing you're going to pick up your phone and then see a scrolling news feed of desperation. And I mean, the snooze button's been great though, to be honest.
Sure.
They
I've been
just-
getting into lots of sort of funny podcasts and stuff, you know, just daft, spraffing Canadian people and like. Have you ever heard Stop Podcasting Yourself?
Nope.
It's just really funny. It's just funny nonsense chat, and you're like, it's a good mood regulator. If I'm sitting doing edits on stuff like that, just have that sort of whittering away in the background. Sometimes late at night or whatever. It's good, you know.
Well, I mean, I'm impressed with 120 days because I think I did Sober October, had a few on the night of the Capture Works gig, and then I did a Sober November. But then, and I
good.
was, I think, pretty soberish December up until a point. But then Christmas, New Year, you know, we'd planned to go somewhere for Christmas, New Year.
But
just
there's,
like
but you two can have a drink together though, so that's different.
Yeah.
See, I'm here in my Todd, so drinking
Yeah.
on your own that's not a good vibe, you know.
But just I suppose just the, you know, it's just the Christmas Hogmanay. It just has all those vibes. So yeah.
I tell you what, actually, I've given up hangovers rather than drinking. So I just had to
That's
work that
shite,
way.
man.
Oh, the churning.
Can we know
out
once we get the
oh,
COVID
God.
vaccine sorted out? Once everyone gets vaccinated for COVID, can we get the hangover vaccination next? Because I think that's going to be helpful with the amount of parties that people have got planned. You know, all these
Get that
all
researched.
the never-ending gigs and festivals, and you know all the people that have passed away in the last year. Everyone needs to have a send-off for them as well. So we do need that hangover vaccination, or you know, Earl Grey tea. Earl Grey
Yeah.
tea is.
Some Viking funerals for some.
This is actually you
90
call
folk.
that radio, LGBT.
Oh, sweet!
So
Hey!
YCTR. Do you know? I actually forgot about that. I've actually the legendary Tony made a bunch of stuff for me. So I've actually got. Oh, I've done that.
Awesome.
Thing. So he's made.
That's one of the best things about this is how many creative folk have made so much awesome stuff in all the different ways and like.
I think
all
there's
the-
much
all
more
the
as well. I think
video
there's I think there's
stuff
people
and-
sitting on all sorts.
Sure, yeah. It's like it's exciting. I think things are gonna open up soon enough, and you know.
The spring is springing at least. So and you've got nature on your doorstep. So that's a
Yeah,
good start for
very
yourself.
lucky in that,
Colin Symes
absolutely.
apologising for being late.
How dare you?
We forgive you. I don't know
Yeah.
if Hamish does, but I forgive you.
In time, I will.
Lewis says, I love drinking on one. I'm not much of a
Fair
people
play.
person, so it's ideal for me to just sit in my own, have a couple of red wines and browse Reddit without having to talk to anyone.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't. Do you know what? It can be nice having a wee red wine on your own.
It's totally whatever works for the person.
It's just a hangover. It's not the red wine on my own. I could drink red wine on my own, I'm sure. Plenty.
Sure.
But it's just the.
Fill a bath with it. But yeah, I don't have an off switch sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd always be the
Fair enough.
last person at the after party going, nah, and I was like, oh.
Well, I think you were. I think we were the last ones up when we were talking about creating a podcast.
Well, you see, it does have its.
Well, it was, we literally
it's
were. We were in.
subjects, yeah.
We were in the car park. We were in
Yeah.
the car park as
Yeah.
the last men standing,
Yeah,
discussing
yeah.
podcasts. So there was nobody left. There was literally nobody left. There's Lou likes the Earl Grey as well.
Sure.
She's mentioned Reddit, which is just something that I've got into more this year. I don't know if you're into Reddit, man, but I found that was a really good escape from. I found just the arguments in Facebook and Twitter, and where else are we?
It's not.
Or just the
am I
bullshit
right in
people
saying
talk on
it's
YouTube.
not algorithmically steered? It's like a humongous message board. Is that right?
Yeah, but I
And
think
it's
it's like
sort of got its
when-
finger
when,
on
for
the
example,
pulse a
it
bit
asks me-
more.
when it asks for your location, just say no, because it's just trying. It's starting to try and give you what people in your area are
Yeah.
reading, and I quite like. It's just quite good to read about. You know, it's mostly American stuff, but
It's about getting out of your own blinkered, what echo chamber type
Yeah.
thing. Great.
And also, when someone's got when someone says something controversial on Reddit, then I can enjoy that as a comedy. From a comedy point of view, rather than it being one of your best friends saying something that you don't agree with about.
Yeah.
Oh God!
But it's like, I remember in microcosm what kind of happened to the internet in lockdown, especially with the lack of interaction. It's like in Edinburgh Techno, there was Dogma was an awesome night at sort of and like start 2000s and such, and it had a really active message board, and that was all like, even if there was a falling out or anything like that, you'd meet up at least once a month, generally every week, when you see each other out, and all the little petty squabbles would just go, oh well, yeah, that was all nonsense, and you see each other face to face and hug it out and all that jazz. And then when Dogma finished, all the misunderstandings just got, they just fester online, because I mean, in this kind of interaction we're actually talking to each other, but when you're just on a text-based thing, unless you're leaning into emoticons and stuff like that, how do you know when someone's taking the piss or what the context
Well,
of
the
it
problem
is?
with
or what
emoticons as
the vibe
well
is?
is that, I learned from Tickle, El Papa Giraffe Tickle, because I
He's
didn't
amazing.
use smiley faces. Oh, he is absolute legend. I didn't use any emojis or emoticons or whatever until he said, I find it's quite a good way of letting the reader
Especially
know.
for sarcasm.
For sarcasm, I'm just having a bit of fun. But I think that's been so misused over the last year now.
It's
that
also open to
don't-
interpretation anyway,
yeah,
because it's a
the laughing-
picture.
It's like the laughing emoji now just says to me that someone's
Yeah.
I can't believe you believe that.
I'm actually rolling on the ground, and I have died. No, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't really work anymore. There's no tone to it.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And like this is the thing, we've had a few people on the I'm up for people with different opinions. We've had loads of people on the show this last year who've had a different opinion,
That's part of
and
it.
you tend to find that it all falls apart. The arguments fall apart, and you end up just agreeing with the many things that you do agree with.
Yeah,
Do you know,
yeah.
that's it. Because people are coming from their own space. They're coming from the point of view that they want what's best for everyone, usually. And
Yeah.
so
It's like-
we agree on more than we disagree with.
Yeah,
But in a
it's-
tech space like that, it's like everyone wants to impress their little tribe.
Yeah, so that's what they feel the group thing with their previous position that they have to double down on to feel still part of that, so that they don't destroy their own sense of self. But then when you're actually just having a discussion with someone, you're much likely to go, oh, humans, all right, okay.
And there's also things that you can get away with in a Facebook group or there's ridiculous claims that you can make online that people will back you up on that would not fly in a pub or a face-to-face. You couldn't say to your mates that I think that this happened. I think that this is going to... I think that Donald Trump is going to take over the TV stations on Monday, and he's going to execute all the cabal one by one, and Tom Hanks all
next
one by
Monday.
one.
No, next Monday.
I meant next Monday. Next Monday.
Right, okay, right.
He will be president. Mark my words, he will still be president.
Yeah,
there's a new
just a question
president.
of time.
Well, actually, that's Donald Trump. He is the real president. The real Joe Biden's in Guantanamo Bay, and Donald Trump's pulling the strings. And it's all
there's a
CGI.
tiny alien underneath Donald Trump's hair.
Called Jesus Christ. It's actually Jesus Christ. This is the thing, man. The most strange thing is that now, people who work in accounts who never actually gave two shits about austerity or conspiracy theories now think I'm mainstream because I don't think Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. Have you listened listen to the tunes I did? And I have done for years. Fucking mainstream. Okay. Danny Aldersloe's in the house. He says, evening, thanks more for helping Mark make the thing happen.
Cheers.
Anders says, tickle spot on, like, so easy to get the wrong end of stick online. Hello, Anders, good to see you, mate.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, Tickle is one of the greatest and doesn't get enough props.
Anders is amazing. Have you heard Tickle with Anders' stuff as well?
Yes.
Burning Bright.
Burning Bright.
They've got particular favourite is Sitting in the Park. Is just one of the most, if you want a good vibes tune, Sitting in the Park by it's all about farting about in the meadows in the summer, and it's even got a French bit. Come on.
We might even play that a little bit later on.
Sweet.
I miss Sitting in the Park. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, that's a lot lower expectations than we did last year. It's like, can I have a beer in a park?
We're gonna have to have a zorbing picnic or some shit.
A haircut, you know what I mean? Right now, I'd love it. I don't give a shit about my hair normally, but I got a kind of sort of a rushed haircut in the middle of when the things a tier changed, and it was like a kind of.
Is that why you got the hat on?
Oh, that's why I've got the hat on. I just, if you look at my screenshots from yesterday. All my screenshots are always so serious as well because I've got to look at the camera while I click the mouse somewhere else. I've got to do two things at once, so it just looks like I'm raging.
Email checking face.
I just look absolutely raging every time.
I get some photos of me playing. I'm like,
I'll show you the hair. It's just, it's fucking. It's when lopsided.
All right. I mean? Yeah. Well, getting some grungy
much,
vibes, man.
Also, it's going in my. It's getting in my eyes. We're going to play another tune just now because we're talking about that the escaping reality. What's the name of that tune again?
Please don't judge what you don't understand.
Please don't judge what you don't understand. It's an incredible album, and it came out at the start of all this.
Yeah, it's a remix album of a band called Tryptamines, who. It's an amazing virtuosic keyboard player, Doric, cosmonaut, and called Callum, and amazing electronic beat machine wielder called Tom, the Noisemonger. And I went up to Aberdeen and recorded them various sessions, and then we did some other parts with Fox Beats, amazing drummer, and some, but this remix album was from a combination of that album. We won an award, an IMA award. It's like a International Independent Musician Award for
award winning.
And then we did an album off the back of that. But the remix album is partly from that album and from another album that they recorded with another guy called Hamish, which is also really good. So yeah, it just sort of.
There's also, I'm sure you sent me.
And it's called Adventures in Anywhen is the album.
Adventures in Anywhen, what a name!
So playing with concepts of place and time and like Anywhen. It's like
I think Anywhen. I think when
how you treat your
call
time.
This time at Anywhen.
This is exactly it, you know. So.
Anywhere. Adventures in Anywhere.
Sweet.
There's a tune that you sent me that you'd worked with these guys, and I remember asking you if I could use it because I wrote a song called "Building a Hing" about a year and a half ago when we were starting the Patreon, and I was obviously struggling to describe what it is. You know, is it a podcast, a radio show, a platform? And I just went with a hing. So I went with the word hing. I just went, well, it's a hing. We can say it's a hing. We can't really say it's a podcast.
Just right.
So, but I've wrote a hing, and I'm for that, and I'm gonna try and find the track, and I want to release it because it's just even just a wee skit, an ident. I need to get new idents, man, because they're amazing.
Cool.
We've got the best. We've been spoiled with the best idents, I think. But it's time to kind of upgrade them a wee bit. I think get some new ones on the go.
Cool.
But yeah, I'll work on that. I've got my weekends back now, so.
Well, I think it worked really well as well with. Are you talking for the audio one or for video one? Because it worked really well.
The video
making those little snippets and then just making them available to folk, and all the different interpretations that everyone came up with all the video idents were just awesome. You know?
Yeah, sure, man. Lots of talented people there.
So cool.
Oscar Jam, Tim Curry. I think there was a little bit of John in the Hat, probably a little bit of Martin Windybank in there. I scrambled a couple together as well, but yeah, no, they were amazing. So if anyone's up for doing a wee ident, then let me know. I can record some
theme tunes.
For it. What?
All the theme tunes as well.
Well, that's it. I'm actually got. Do you know what? I'm going to make that available to the patrons next month.
Yeah.
It's just like a wee EP of.
Great.
Because there's actually about 6 theme songs now.
Sweet.
So it's an EP. I think it's an exclusive only for the patrons. I was actually going to do it this week, but I've underestimated how much stuff was going to have to get done this week. It was 9 shows in 3 days, and lots of other shit happened because
you're a slacker, man.
I forgot that life can happen as well. You know, sometimes I just think, oh well, there's nothing going to be happening, is there? But yeah, life still does happen, just in a kind of weirder, less interactive way. But shit, still, it's the fan. And let's watch this tune.
Indeed. Cool.
This is an absolute belter, and I love the video. Let us know in the comments, guys, what you make of this. This will blow your mind. And I will switch to stereo first. It's good that you're there, Hamish. I always feel like I don't want to let you
It's
down.
gonna chew up anyway, so don't worry about it.
Well, we'll give it a go. We'll make it a lot. If we can make it 5% better, then why not make it 5% better?
I got you. Ready?
Yeah, he's
1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, this is Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 live and direct here in Glasgow, Scotland, and you call that radio?
Upon you, we are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale. We see the crimes of this government, how they support every dictator and criminal on this earth. Sometimes you can feel down. Sometimes you're
Absolutely wild, man. I love that.
Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it was quite a in-depth process for putting that together. I mean, tune-wise, like the bass line is from like the tail end of a totally different sounding track, and then it was put together. So the hi-hats are sort of live take hi-hats that I recorded for it, and then the guitar-y bits are actually made out of little fragments of other things. And then for the video, it's a lot of those sort of infinite zoom things were made by an artist called Steph with F, who makes these incredible. It's like a picture that becomes another picture that becomes another picture. And I saw him and I thought, ooh, if we just paused at certain parts of it and then you animate bits within it, then you could have this really cool interactive sort of journey around Anywhen, this planet Anywhen. Because there's like an actual, made a website with all these zones, Anywhen.fun, that refer to different musical moods. And Callum, who's the main sort of character in the video, he was on the green screen for that. He sort of really digs the concept of it as well. So it's all about the Tryptamines band sort of exploring Anywhen. That's why it's called Adventures in Anywhen, which is this planet you can escape to in tunes and such.
And where is the Adventures of Anywhen?
Anywhen.fun. Or in fact, you'll find the actual album on my Bandcamp, which is just
Yeah,
Morphamish.
I was just thinking about the website.
Oh yeah, so you can see the actual. There's like a kind of interactive map of the planet that you zoom into, in Anywhen.fun.
Anywhen.fun. Let's have a wee look at it, because I've seen it before, man. It's such a cool concept. Here we are. Okay, so I'll just bring this up for people to see. So this is
I can't see.
Anywhen.
I can only see myself. Oh, there we are. There you are.
Okay, so you've got the blank canvas,
Which is like super chilled out ambient stuff. So there's like I did a mix that just at the start of the lockdown, which is just totally ambient, beatless and sort of folktronica and stuff like that, which made sense for the feeling.
I think Folktronica
Right,
is the one that I'm talking about for the tune. It sounded like
Oh.
anywhen dot fun.
Not fun.
Anywhen dot fun it is. Anywhen dot fun. So this is like an incredible concept. Anywhen dot fun. Check it out after, guys. You've got your max and relax. You've got your bubble and flex, and then you click into one, and it takes you to this amazing. Oh, there's Banana Sessions Whirlpool. What a remix that is!
Such a lush song, like.
It's so good, so good. The remix is incredible as well. And
Have you
yeah,
heard
it's just
the choir version? She's got a
Yeah,
choir
no,
version.
I know. Wow.
I actually found another remix that was on sometimes when you're just working on something, you don't realise you've actually made a version of something because you've heard it that many times. You think you've got to add more bits to it. And I'm glad with, the final version of the remix, but there's a much more minimal dubby version of that remix as well that we might put out at some point. Put them
Should
all
put it out.
on
It's an
the-
actual tune.
Yeah,
It's my. Oh, was that
timing's
Roberta?
right. That'd be nice.
Roberta's kindly played it on this show a couple of times as well.
It's such a strong song that it can work in so many different ways,
Talking about your last song that we just watched, Love It,
cheers.
says Lou. That's a tune, says Papa Boy.
Cheers.
And what was it? Oh, yeah, we've got Colette's in the house. I've not seen much of you, Colette. I hope yours keeping safe. Love Baby Doll. Where's the emojis? I hope you're all right. We've got Just Don't Drink a Silly Amount and You Won't Have a Hangover. Why didn't I think of that?
That's wise words.
Good advice. I never thought of that. We've got a love heart from Liz. Shouts to Liz. She does some great work.
Yeah, this everything that I do would be impossible without Liz. Like if you're saying that I'm doing stuff in the background, the amount that Liz is doing in the background is phenomenal with all my admin-y stuff and promo-y stuff and keeping things on an even keel and reaching out into the world and stuff, And she's supporting so many people. It's
She's your Morphamish.
Sweet.
Everyone needs a Morphamish. I suppose. I think just as much as you try, the DIY ethic of me is to try and just do absolutely everything myself.
You're a force in nature, though. You're so prolific and unstoppable, man. It's just like
I try and do it all, but you can't do it all. You just need help every so often, and
Sure.
Also,
Everybody
there's just
needs a
stuff
bit
that I
of
don't
help,
know.
but-
I just don't know how to do stuff. The stuff that I don't know yet, but
it's
what
like
you've- what-
you'd be
what you've
doing the
actually
shit anyway, even if you didn't have any help from anyone. You know what I
yeah, but it would have sounded and looked terrible, and I
mean?
probably would.
Everything's tougher when you do just on your Todd, but
But yeah, I probably would still be doing it, just screaming into a void. Nobody wanting to come on the show because it looks shite. It'd just be me getting drunker and angrier as the years go by. Fucking joining QAnon and all that. That's my alternative reality. We've also got Danny says great sounds and what I did. That swan's neck was pure yoga.
Oh, sweet.
I like the phrase pure yoga for things now.
Isn't it?
Oh, that was
Yeah,
pure
yeah.
yoga, man. That is pure
Yeah.
yoga.
I've actually been getting into yoga over the last year.
Yes.
So, yeah, totally.
Well, I've not.
Really
Joe's
helps,
trying to get me
especially
into
when
it.
you're desk bound.
I'm running out of
Like
reasons
yourself.
to not do yoga. I'm running out of reasons. I'm getting told to do
Your missus is
yoga.
actually a yoga instructor, dude.
She's just got her license. She's officially
excuse
allowed
then.
to. She's a license to yoga. So I've got no excuses. I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose it probably just boils down to these preconceptions that were built up. I don't know. Growing up, films you've seen, people talking about it. It just seemed like one of those things for the others. But it certainly wasn't very baffling. Ned Punk, the Gyro Babies was not pure yoga, but
It's
you know,
a
here we
great
are.
stretch. Essentially, it's a
Stretch of the imagination. I'm on the Earl Grey. When people say you can't drink herbal tea, you can't drink Earl Grey, but you can. You can do what you want.
You should totally drink it. You shouldn't pour it over your head or anything. I'd advise
No,
drinking
it's not to be advised. We've got big up team Anywhen, says Liz.
Hey.
And yeah, man, that whole Anywhen website just blows my mind. And you've got your
I wanted it to be a sort of a way, because
it's like a computer game from back in the day.
I'd love it to actually be a computer game, ultimately. But it's kind of meant to be a sort of user-friendly way for folk to find the kind of vibe of tunes, rather than it being strictly by style, because I find that quite restrictive. I mean, occasionally,
also, it doesn't
this is
make
just
sense
a cracking such and such kind of mix.
Doesn't make.
And
You're quite right, man.
enjoy it, but I
Moods
prefer
make more
something that's
sense
got a
than
bit,
genre, because like you got hip hop. There's that hip hop that you listen to psych yourself up, and putting your headphones when you've got shit to do, or you're going out in a bit, and then you've got the hip hop that you're putting on at the end of the night to chill out. So
Exactly.
you can't describe things by genre, but mood's a better way of doing it.
Yeah. And then when it was thinking about that, it was like, well, if it's a place, then time and place, and sort of originally it was going to have like weather that content translated to music stuff. Was like, well, that doesn't work. So it kind of makes sense in the grand scheme of things.
Lou says there's no reason not to do yoga. It's amazing. I know. That's what I'm saying. I've run out of excuses. I'm going to do it. I suppose it's not so much yoga itself. It's I suppose when you start to do anything, you feel stupid. I think you avoid doing new things because you're going to be a bit shit at it, and you're worried that you're going to be stupid, and that works for anything. But I have been getting,
dude, when you've been sat at your desk for ages, and then you're like, oh god, right between my shoulder blades is killing me. I need to have a stretch. And then you have a stretch, and you're like, oh, I wish I'd done that 5 hours ago. I feel much better. It's like a focused way of doing that for your whole caboodle, essentially. If that makes sense.
It's like, would you say it's like holding basically what I'm doing by not doing yoga is like holding a fart in. I'm just holding a fart in, and I feel a lot better. Big fart yoga coming soon.
Yeah.
No, with a couple of yoga instructors, we did think we were going to do yoga. You got all that radio. It looks better written down. You got all that radio, and I was going to get the fucking, what do you call it? The stretch pants. What do you call them? Get full yoga, get up, get back.
Tune in tomorrow and you'll be just tied in knots, and you'll be like, ah.
No, it's going to. I'm sure it'll hurt me. I'm sure it will hurt. But yeah, I suppose. But I'm getting over that. I'm getting over that whole idea now of because a couple of years ago I was doing help work for a charity, and I had to learn new stuff that I hadn't done before to make a newsletter or something like that. And that way, just by getting over that fear of learning a new software and stuff. So
totally.
And then like this last year, I've really had to learn practically from the scratch Premiere Pro,
Yeah,
Photoshop.
You totally supercharged all your skills and stuff.
And then obviously when I was doing the audio podcast with you before, it was Audacity. Now I'm using Reaper and a bit of Ableton. So yeah,
it gives you more options for how you want to do stuff. It's great.
Absolutely. So I'm not scared anymore. It's like, I think that the trick is to trying to start anything new is just because it's got lots of thousands of buttons, it doesn't mean you need to use all the buttons. You're probably just going to use a few to start. Well, it's the same as with yoga. Like I'm sure you're not going to go into a cow dog. What's it called? A sunrise cow dog. You're not going to go straight into that. You're going to start with
sunrise cow dog. That is exactly the industry standard.
At the start, you'll maybe start with just a small kitten, donkey, cloud. Do you know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean. I don't know the terminology, but you've got to start. Just start, and then you'll get better. I think
you've just got to jump on the kitten donkey cloud, man.
Jump on the kitten donkey. That should be one of the islands in Anywhen.
Sweet. Yeah, that's true. There's room in the map for that. Why not?
Lou says that do how you call that radio yoga session, the Zoom Seahawk farts when they do the downward dog. Downward dog. That's what's like. Downward dog is what it's called.
Downward
Absolutely.
dog, outward fart. There we go.
What is the question I've been asking?
I've never got farty doing yoga. Maybe I should
Never
eat
got
more
farty.
cabbage.
Are
No,
you a farty
I mean,
man normally though? Maybe you're
of
just not a
course.
farty man.
How dare you? Pride myself on my flatulence, sir.
I want to ask the question that I've been asking everyone. It's my question I'm asking everyone now. It's like, okay, Sturgeon makes an announcement. COVID's over. Turns out it was all a big hoax and it was fine now. Everything's fine. Back to normal.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. We made a mistake and everything can go back. So what venue would you want? And they've appointed you to be the chief bringer of good times back. And you've got to decide on a venue and a bill, and feel free to be as unrealistic as you like, or as realistic as you like.
Carlton Road gets a roof and you reopen
The
the
studios,
venue
yep.
and the studios, and they're all one big walled city of bonkers behaviour. Yeah.
Who's playing it?
Oh, fuck. Who's playing it?
Are you getting bands, or is it just all out DJ warfare?
Everything. All the above. But you could do a weekend long festival with bands.
Obviously, we've had the hangover vaccine as well.
Because you could have with it being lots of different club rooms, you could have folks singing songs and stuff like that without clashing beats fucking it up during the day. And then you get more and more intense bands, and then you get your dance stuff during the evening. And yeah, plenty of jungle and techno and dub and.
What about you're
Fucking
naming
love
the
it.
genres, man? I know you know. I know you love all the genres.
That's true.
You've got all. You love all the genres. You've got no favourites. I don't think. I think every time I
Not
press play.
especially.
When I
I
press
think-
play on a famous track, I don't know what to expect. Obviously, when I've seen you performing live, I've seen you do a bit of techno. I've seen you do a bit of drum and bass. So I never really know what you're going to do live. But what if you okay? So it's an imaginary gig at the rebuilt Carlton Road or whatever venue. What music? Maybe that's a better question. What would be in your box of tricks? What would you think you'd get the most pleasure out of playing
Right now,
Yeah.
funky, bassy techno
Yeah.
with some breaks through it, and then maybe a wee bit of all caps at the end with drum and bass pace techno. With
Oh,
juggly
this
stuff.
genre.
But that's just at the end of it. Just for the end of
Just
it.
basically
But-
all
but
the
most of-
genres, just-
no, but most of it just like that kind of techno that isn't in a mad hurry, but it's just
It just
everybody's locked
nods along
because
nicely.
nobody's had a dance for ages and everyone's just fucking locked.
Why
And
is
it's
it-
huge bass
Yeah,
lines and everyone's
they're,
like,
they're,
it's got,
they're there-
it's
they're
gonna
there
do
for
the
a good
thing. It's
time.
gonna do the thing. It's gonna do. Yes, that kind of shit.
sort of reversing that. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. But just people are
Yeah, I
actually
know.
going to be there for a long time. It's going to be a
The release
an
is gonna be
18
insane.
18 hours starting 8 o'clock in the morning, kick off, and
Yeah. With all the
and
different
there's
flavors of stuff. Yeah.
Anders says sometimes you just got to jump on the kitten donkey cloud. Very true, Anders. That's what I always say. Sometimes you
That
do.
is
You just
what
got to
you
jump. On.
always say.
That's what I always say, man. You'll always hear me saying that's one of my wee things I say. What we're going to do is going to play the tune that was voted electronic song of the year, because that's it. You've won. That's another electronic
very much.
song of the year. Tell us about that. They call that radio electronic song of the year. Tell us about this.
Well, this one I actually wrote a while ago when I was feeling particularly chuffed when I was started a relationship with a lovely lass, but then I didn't really know where, in terms of other music, that it should go. It wasn't on a specific album or stuff like that. But then I thought, it's just such a, it's literally got comedians sampled on it, so it'd be a good time to just put out something that's super jolly. And but that was, I was talking about like at the start of a conversation about folk going, I like it, but it's too weird. But I like it, but it's too weird. It's like, okay.
Well, I don't think it's too weird. I love it. I love
I
it.
know everyone's been really sound about it, apart from these playlisters are just like, nope, I can't play it. It's like, okay.
I can't put
Fuck
that
it.
in a box.
Just let
I want to
your
put that in a
flag fly,
box.
Yeah.
And you know what you need to do as well is you need
It's
to
funny.
actually just need to make up your own genre.
Yeah.
That's what they
That's the
want.
way.
That's what the journalists want. That's what the playlisters want. And then if you say that I've invented a genre, then you can just play. You can just do
All the people
all the
that I
things you
really
do.
respect did that, So
Well, I don't know how you'd put this in a box, but I love it, man. It reminds me of I think you sent it to me during the summer, a lockdown maybe, or the spring. Maybe in the spring. I don't know, but I remember just feeling hopeful at that point for
Awesome.
a while. So
Awesome.
it was like, it reminds me of like going a wee cycle in the sun, and it reminds me of having
Cool.
a wee beer in the park as well. And it's just yeah, it's got a good vibe to it. And I will switch to
Sweet.
stereo.
I didn't seem to chew the last one up that much, actually. It sounded
so
normal to me.
Do you know what? I think that might have been because I switched to stereo before I hit play the first time. Maybe that's a trick.
There's a
Maybe
knack
that's trick.
to the gizmo.
Oh, unless you've got an actual video. Because I've got a new thing where I can share a video file. No, let's just do this.
I ain't got squat.
This is a cracker. Let us know in the comments what you make of it. And also, we're going to have a raffle. So if you're a Patreon, I'm actually going to just show people what they could win after this. In fact, maybe I should do the raffle now. I'll do the raffle now, actually.
Here's what you could win.
Because I need to. It takes me a couple of seconds to find out do the maths, who's won. So this is it. Aria has made this amazing guitar string bracelet.
Sweet.
And she's selling them, but we've managed to get hold of. There's only 5 made, and I've managed to get one of them. So thank you to Aria for supplying the guitar string bracelet. There's also going to be a raffle later on tonight. We've also got Steg G and the Steg G Freestyle Master, Solar Eye from Stanley Odd, Empress and CCTV coming on the show at 7. So hang around for that as well. And they're giving away CDs and T-shirts and all sorts. So it's a raffle-friendly day. And I'm just going to find out who's won the guitar string bracelet. So random number generator is going to tell us the answer to that question. And I'll bring it on the screen so that you can all see it. And let's see. Random number generator. Generate one number. And we've got 207 patrons, which is incredible. Thank you to everybody. That is 250 is the goal. 161. So this is I'm glad to actually see a kind of bigger number, because a lot of the numbers have been quite recent ones, which is fine. It's good to see new patrons winning things, but it's good. It looks like one of the older school supporters has won the guitar string bracelet. So I'm going to need to go back through the patrons to see who that 161th person ago was. So it's, yes, going from recent to 161 it's near the start. Let's say that it's near the start, but I'll do the maths and tell you who's won that after this brilliant tune from Morphamish. Am I still in stereo?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's go for it then. This is Party Animals by Morphamish.
Who's there? Yes, I was interested in the thing about music and animals. Yeah. And it's something I know a little bit about, so I think the best way to do it would be to demonstrate on the piano. Oh, that'd be great. I'll just play a bit of a piece as we would hear it. As we would hear it, human being. Hold on. Okay. Like this.
pressed a button. I ruined it. I ruined it. I ruined it. Sorry, I ruined
I
it.
thought your internet had gone or something.
No, it was just.
Were you trying to do another
Just cause
thing
I'm
with
doing
another
I'm doing a
window?
few things in the background. It's just me being a clumsy idiot, a stupid idiot. See, if I did yoga, I would be more focused. But here we go. Here we go.
Place to cats. But if I were to go into the dogs and cats comfort zone, I'd probably have to play like this.
I think there's a rat on the keys.
There's a rat on the keyboard, what am I gonna do?
So hang on. So
Now that would be more pleasant for cats and dogs.
but that's what we're hearing,
I
okay?
mean, if you were to go to a cat's disco, you probably wouldn't enjoy it.
No, I probably wouldn't. What you just played just then?
Yes.
What would that sound like if you played it to an owl?
Well, that would kill an owl.
Would it? Why's that?
Well, they've got terribly sensitive hearing. I mean, they can hear a dormouse chewing at hundreds of yards. Scott Joplin would be fatal to an owl.
Well, thanks very much for your call there, Louis, and a little bit of a word of warning to all our listeners: don't play any music near owls.
I just made up some jazz and they just went tutting and shoved their heads on it. And then they said, wolves have got perfect pitch. I'd love to see wolves singing doo-wop. Wouldn't it? Imagine watching, no, man, we're going to find an alleyway.
Brothers and sisters.
Steps to Daniel. Are you before me?
You call that radio?
Hello, yes, this is Dog.
We do indeed call that radio an absolute banger of a tune, man.
Cheers, bud. So that's like you're still on stereo. So yeah, that's like it's sort of combination of like lots of different layers of sort of jazz drum samples and some live drums and like some sort of synth stuff and piano and I think it was actually the
It's Alan
samples
Partridge who
from-
says about owls.
it's Down the Line, which was it's like I made the tune well before we started doing you call that radio, but yeah, I just love the serendipity of it because yeah, it's like down the line was the folk from the Fast Show, mostly the folk from the Fast Show, and some other folk doing a spoof phone-in show, like a comedy phone-in show on the radio. So that's what the samples for, and then the later on sample is Bill Bailey and Lenny Henry interviewing each other. So that was a bit of fun on that. But the video was, I wasn't going to do a video for it because I was, how are we going to make a video for this? And then I just searched for green screen dancing animals, and all these different animals sort of came out, and I'd figured out how to do the green screen stuff from that other video you saw for live stuff, and I thought, well, you can do it with stuff that they've made sort of animated. So then cutting them together and making it sort of be fun with some sort of YouTube clips and stuff like that. But I found the dancing wolf and lion. I'm like, that's a cat and a dog, technically.
That's a kitten. That's a downward dog and a kitten donkey cloud.
Yeah. And the thing is, it was exactly the right speed. Like literally, it's a weird tempo. It's 110 or something like that. But it was like, I wonder if that'll fit. And it was like donk, and I literally just had to move.
It's amazing when that happens, isn't it, man?
I was like, oh, thank you.
There's actually a fancy word for that. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a fancy word for when
is it serendipity?
You take a random bit of video and a random what?
Oh right, are you talking actually in technical terms? Right?
Yeah, so if you take a random video and a random bit of audio and throw them together and it works, there's a fancy word for it. I can't remember what it is, but
the very dab.
I love it when it happens. I love when a plan comes together.
Totally.
I missed a couple of comments later on because sometimes YouTube censors a swear word. So I'm just going to go back. Where was it? Because there's something that I missed. Colette. Oh, it's another one. Hold on, I need to go with that. Because Colette's been a bit quiet, so I was asking how she's doing, and she says that she broken a bone or something. Babes, I've fucked my ass, 2 broken bones and a large fracture to my pelvic. Hence the reason I've not been on lately. Loving miss yourself. Oh, it's so sad to hear.
That's brutal.
That is sad to hear. Colette, I hope you're okay.
That's
absolutely horrific.
That's brutal.
So get well soon, Colette. And there was another comment. Johnny Sloan said they fucking loved it. Your tune earlier. It's just some the odd word just gets caught. I think Lou mentioned that kids are fucking evil is a good Reddit thread to check out.
Sweet.
And talking about that song, Steve-O has got the smiley face.
Hey, Steve-O. That's one of the ETC DJs. He's a good man.
Shouts to the ETC crew. I mean, it was the Castle Party that made this podcast happen.
Yeah,
if it wasn't for that Castle Party, and we wouldn't been in a car park plotting a podcast at 7 a.m. or whatever it was. Bad Man says Malcolm Malkavian.
I'm not even sure who that is in real life. I don't know if that's maybe Cam in real life. I don't know. But cheers.
Class, says Lou.
Thank you very much.
Danny says Glasgow yoga. Awkward yoga teacher tried to adjust my pal's stretch. She fanny farted in his face. He had a total beamer for the rest of the class. Lou's enjoying that comment. She's screaming at the comment. Glasgow yoga. The winner of the raffle. The winner of the raffle, I've got to do that, is Dan Reardon. Congratulations, Dan. You have won the amazing bracelet made from a guitar string. And so thanks to Aria for that. Congratulations, Dan. A wee round of applause for Dan. And I'm glad to see, obviously I love all Patreons as equal, but it's good to see one of the older supporters, not by age, not at all, Dan. I would never assume your age, but just people that were supporting it from the start. Dan's been there right at the beginning. So well done, Dan, and thank you to everyone who's supporting the show.
Thanks.
If you do enjoy the show and you want to support it, we're trying to get to 250. So you could, that's the safety zone. So if you can, then you also go into the raffle. For tonight's raffle, we've got Steg G's giving away t-shirts, CDs and all sorts at 7 o'clock, so we'll be back at 7 for that. And just a little plug again for Morphamish's. That website we looked at earlier on was anywhen.fun. It's great crack if you want to go in and just find a mood and like an old school computer game and find some amazing music in there as well. And of course there's a link tree. I'm going to put these in the comments. The link tree. Tell us about the link tree.
It's sort of a list of the latest stuff in order that I'm sort of focusing on getting it out to people rather than just bombarding people with the anywhen.fun, which is just like shitloads of different stuff. It's like, well, if you just want, like, okay, I just want to check out a tune or something like that, you can see stuff on the link tree. It's got Spark in there, and it's got a single from from Adventures in Anyone called The Citadel, which is quite a lot weirdly not explicitly lockdown vibe, but there's something about the lyrics are you can interpret in a kind of way on that. If you hear it, it makes sense. But it was written well before that. I think there's a line in "It's okay to be bored" or something like that, or "born." You can't make out which way it goes, but I like the way Tom sung it. It's like a weird indie drum and bass thing, like an indie half-step drum and bass thing. Again, it's not a specific style, but it does make sense in itself. But that was out on Paradise Palms, which is a great record label out of Edinburgh, with the venue Paradise Palms, which is a really nice sort of halfway between a pub and a club and a bistro and stuff. It's a girl.
Malkavian is just here from Anywhen, an island off the east coast. And well done, Dan. Well done, Dan. What a prize! Yep, congratulations, Dan.
That'll be Cam. Cam is Liz's husband, and he's been a big driving force in a lot of the concepts behind Anywhen. We bounce ideas off each other a lot, and he's got an imagination like just a majestic, really interesting imagination. He's one of my oldest best buds, as is Liz. So yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning in, and if you are just tuned in for the first time to see Morphamish, then remember to hit that subscribe button and join us for future shows. The next bus leaves in half an hour at 7 o'clock for Steg G, who's just launched his new album Live Today. So it's important. It's an album launch. It's got Solar Eye from Stanley Odd. It's going to be here, Empress, CCTV, Freestyle Master. I'm absolutely buzzing to talk about it, and we're going to play an exclusive new video from it as well. Thank you very much to Morphamish, you absolute legend.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you for everything you do, mate. And I can't wait to see you in the real world. Hopefully we can take the camera up and shoot an episode in your studio, man. I would love that.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be great fun.
All the best, man. Take it easy. Everyone go and check out Morphamish's stuff. Congratulations, Dan Reardon. And we'll see you at 7 o'clock for Steg G and the cast of Live Today.
Do you want weirdo or do you want it? If you don't